This is Nicole Whitlock and Tony Mitchell with eCom Sellers Academy. And today we're going to be discussing sourcing strategies for Q4 and beyond. So this is part two of a two-part series. So let's begin. So Tony, if you want to unmute yourself, you can tell a little about yourself. Otherwise, I can tell them how amazing you are.
Oh, you're hilarious. It took me 15 minutes to figure out where the link was. So it's my fault. Good. But anyway, um, I'm married. I'm a trainer. I'm on a leadership team. I hope to be retired at the end of this year. Please let 2021 get started. And I've been selling off and online since about 2000. Been selling online pretty much exclusively since 2017. So, and I sell on Facebook Marketplace. I sell on Mercari. I sell on eBay. I sell on Amazon and probably somewhere else, but I just don't remember where it is. It's just been one of those days.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, 2020 has been a very interesting year. It's been a lot of interesting stuff that's happened. So I get it, Tony. I totally get it. So I'm Nicole Whitlock. I am the creator of the eCom Sellers LLC and all of the brands. And I'm the co-founder with my amazing best friend, Miss Renata Darden. I'm a single mom. I have two special needs kids. I'm also the vice president of a nonprofit. And I've been selling offline since 2008. I actually used to run a candy vending business, and I've been selling online since 2014. So, in addition to having many different garage sales, but that's a whole nother story. So, what we're here to talk about is we're here to talk about sourcing. Sourcing is such a big topic. It is the lifeblood of what e-commerce sellers do. Doesn't matter what platform I sell on, Amazon and eBay and Etsy and Shopify and Walmart. Like, okay, so I'm everywhere. And Tony sells on a lot of platforms too. And so if you don't have inventory, which is sourcing, then you can't make any money on any of these platforms. There is I think there was an ad maybe 2 years ago where this person was selling bottled air. But again, you got to put the air in a bottle and you got to put a lid on it. So you got to have a product to sell. So sourcing is the lifeblood of all of our e-commerce businesses. Actually, having a product to sell is the lifeblood of anything. Like, it doesn't matter. It could be in the auto industry. It could be in the housing industry. It could be in the nursing home industry. Like, you have to have a product, a service to sell. Otherwise, there's nothing to buy. And that includes even in the hospital industry. So, just putting it out there that this is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about different ways to source. So we've covered in this workshop series, we covered retail and online arbitrage. We talked about some different sourcing strategies. We talked about, we're going to be talking about in this series, wholesale, private label, white label. We're going to talk about print on demand. Forgot to add that, drop shipping and reverse sourcing. So today's session, we're going to be covering some general sourcing strategies. We're going to talk about print on demand. We're going to talk about wholesale, private label, and white label, drop shipping, and reverse sourcing. And we're also going to talk about some additional strategies that you can use when it comes to maximizing your ROI. So let us begin. So sourcing in general, for those of you that are going, I don't have anything to sell, I don't know what to sell, I don't know where to start. The first thing that we're going to recommend or suggest to you is that you find things from around your house or from your neighbors or stuff that's in your attic, your garage, in your basement, stuff you haven't touched for years, stuff that's sitting under the kitchen sink. You'd be like, I've never used that crock pot. Like, whatever it happens to be. If it's something you haven't touched, if you haven't touched it in 6 months to 9 months, it might be something that's worth putting a label on it and sticking it on a platform and selling it, or not putting a label on it and just listing it in general, taking a picture of it and listing it. And if you are like a person that maybe you're a minimalist, so you don't have a lot of clutter in your life, which is congratulations to you. I'm trying to graduate to that place in my life. But you can reach out to family members, you can reach out to friends, you can reach out to your next door neighbors and say, hey, I am running an e-commerce business where we sell products online. And do you have anything that you were wanting to donate to someone, donate to a nonprofit, or you were going to give away? I would love to be able to sell it for you, list it, so I can make some money, again, sourcing products. Yard sales and garage sales. I haven't seen any of these lately, You know, they're very rare these days. Maybe 2021 will be different. Church sales, same thing, a little rare. But thrift stores and Goodwill stores, like I think most of the Goodwill stores and thrift stores open back up around June or July. And so there are some items there. And then you can also source from store closures and liquidations. We're going to talk about that today. Um, and acquire inventory at a very, very low price. That is the goal. It's either to get it for free or for a low price, so that way you can get started on any of these platforms or any of these methods. In addition to that, we have some recommendations before you get too deep into this whole sourcing and e-commerce game. So the first thing is, for this Q4 and for any time, you should really establish a budget. The thing about e-commerce in general is that at some point you have to spend some money. Even if you're drop shipping, you still got to spend money. And so you have to be able to spend money, and that money is, again, for either paying for inventory to be shipped to a customer or paying for inventory for you to list on a platform. Either way, doesn't matter the method in which you do it. So you should establish a budget, because if you don't have a budget, what's going to happen is you had some stuff to list and you had some stuff to list and you had some stuff to list. You did that for like 3 weeks, and then you don't have anything else to list. Well, in order to find something else to list, you're going to have to acquire some inventory. So you can keep going down the low cost and no cost method. You can keep doing that, or you're going to have to spend some money on some inventory. So you need to have a budget if you want to keep this business alive. The budget, if you want to think of it like a fire outside, like when you're going camping, you got to make a fire. Like, it does not work if you don't have any money, which is your wood, to put on the fire to keep the business alive. So think of your business, the money or whatever you're using as a source to acquire inventory. That's the wood, the kindling that keeps the fire alive. When the wood is gone, the fire dies and there is no heat. So you want a lot of heat in your life when it comes to being an e-commerce seller. You want to make a bunch of money. The next thing is, so put together a budget, put together a weekly budget, maybe for the next 12 weeks. Start off that way. I would encourage you, if you're in the middle of this e-commerce journey, start today by establishing a weekly budget that you're going to spend for at least 12 weeks to give this e-commerce thing an opportunity to work for you and to keep it alive, like you're trying to keep a fire when you're going camping alive. I would also recommend that you establish a separate email address, so you can use that for two different things. One, a separate email address to collect store flyers and newsletters. Like, you can sign up for Walmart newsletters and Target and Kohl's, and you can also sign up for newsletters from wholesale suppliers and drop shipping suppliers and white label suppliers. So set up a separate email address, maybe two. I love Gmail. Gmail is my favorite. And use that as a source for you to be able to collect that information. You can use that for your research. I am very research and data driven. I make data driven decisions, and you should too. So if you're seeing certain things that are on clearance, or there's a big sale for something, or you can get things at a lower price, then definitely, if you've got, like, they have a web only deal for JC Penney's or Kohl's, take that into account, because the lower the price you pay for things, the higher the profit it is for you. The more money you get to keep in your pocket, the more money you get to keep in your pocket. Okay. So set up a separate email address for that. And then also, if you're outsourcing and you're doing retail or online arbitrage, make sure that I use the strategy of taking a picture of the receipt as soon as I buy something before I leave the registry. I already got my phone out. As soon as they hand me the receipt, I just write my little note at the top, take a picture of the receipt. Even if it's a long receipt, take a couple of pictures, and then I walk away. And that way it ensures that I got that picture. And then if for some reason I go outside, it's rainy, it's windy, it's whatever, the receipt rolls down the street, I still got the receipt on my phone. And if for some reason something happens and the receipt gets buried somewhere in the bottom of my trunk because I'm sourcing a lot that day and it fades over time, I have the original receipt on my phone. And I can forward that receipt to my secondary email address for taxes. So any of your bookkeeping, your invoices, your orders that you've paid for, receipts for supplies or anything like that, you can forward all of those to a secondary email address. I personally set mine up as Nicole Tax, so that way everything goes to NicoleTax@gmail.com. And then I can keep track of all of this information for my accountant or my CPA. Makes it easier for them because at the end of the month, what is sitting in that email account? Everything for that particular month. So if at the end of that month, so all of September's are in there and the accountant can go and reconcile September. They can go reconcile October. They just got to log into my Gmail account and call it a day. In addition to that, what I would recommend, especially during Q4, that you reinvest the majority of your money when you make money. So if you start off with the low cost and no cost way of doing sourcing, where you don't spend any money or you spend very little money, again, the inventory is the lifeblood of your business, the money that you put into inventory or however you get it. So it's the kindling, it's the wood, it's the trying to keep the fire alive. So if you don't reinvest in wood, eventually the fire will die. And then you will be like, oh, okay, well, this e-commerce thing doesn't work. And that's because you didn't reinvest in the business to get it up off the ground. So during this window, which is Q4, I highly recommend you reinvest in your business. Make sure you keep all your receipts, which is what I was talking about before. Track your mileage if you're out and about, even if you're doing free sourcing, like you're going to your neighbors, you're going to a church members, you're going to a friend's. Even if you're doing the free or no cost sourcing, keep track of your mileage. That stuff counts. I mean, you got to pay taxes. Everybody's got to do some kind of accounting to Uncle Sam. And then use store coupons. And so create accounts for that. And I talked about that up above. So we're going to get into a little bit more of that a little bit later. And last but not least, yes, go ahead.
I was just going to mention that, especially when you're outsourcing this, especially like you're talking about, right now, all these stores are having deals upon deals. And, keep your eyes out in the store, just because the other day I was outsourcing and, between having rebates on an item for, one of my cashback things, and then the store having, if you spent $40 on something, you got $10 off. And by the time you added all that in together, I think I spent, because it was like 10 off 40. And then my rebate, I had $12 back on it. So we're down to 28. And then I think I had a couple coupons from that. And then I took a picture. I think by the time I got to the 4 items that I actually was using out of that to throw up on the beast, I think I ended up taking something that was almost $10 and got it down to $3.50 or $4, because on top of it, I got one of those $5 Catalinas after I checked out because of that product.
See, so
and then I used that $5 to put back into something else. So
again, you have to look at this as you have to, she talked about feeding the beast. Feeding the beast is definitely synonymous with Amazon, but even if you're not selling on Amazon, just being able to source inventory and keep listings up, that is the lifeblood of your business. If you don't have listings, then you don't have a business. If you don't have listings, you don't have a business, because people can't buy what they can't find. So you have to have listings. So then we talked about, the same thing with the low cost and no cost. We talked about retail arbitrage is probably the easiest way to get started. Then you can scale up to some of the other ways. Another way that's easy to get started is print on demand. It's a low cost way to get into the e-commerce game, because you have to spend very little money on inventory when you're doing print on demand. And then again, we talked about coupons, rebates, cashback. So we'll get into that. And the next level up is going to be in buying in bulk or doing wholesale or private label. And even, even white label has a little bit of a cost to it. So not just a little bit, but a lot of it. But wholesale, private label, drop shipping is probably, I think from a stack standpoint, print on demand is probably free is the best. And like there's no cost there. Then the next level up is going to be a tie with, I would say, print on demand, then a tie with retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, from a low cost to it gets a little bit more expensive. Then you got drop shipping, because drop shipping, again, you can list stuff on some platforms for free, and then you get, once people buy it, then you have to spend money to ship the item to the person before your money is given back to you. And then outside of drop shipping, then the next is private label, white label, wholesale. So those are your, like, what's more expensive. The more you get into getting stuff in larger quantity or having custom things made, the more expensive it's going to get on your journey. So if you are, oops, I think I got, oh, one of my slides is missing. That's all right. Must be after this. Okay. So some of the stores that we recommend, I mean, we've talked to a few of the stores if you're part of eCom Sellers Academy. This is a good list just as a brain dump of let's think about all the types of stores that you could potentially be hitting up if you're doing retail and online arbitrage. And so all of the bullets up to the last two, those are physical stores that you can go to, and those are online stores that you can hit up. So, don't overlook your hardware stores, your pet stores, your sporting goods stores, your drug stores for sure. And then warehouse. So, you've got Sam's Club, you got Costco, you got BJ's. Don't overlook those because those are a great opportunity for you to sometimes be able to acquire inventory at a low price, especially today and tomorrow because of where we are. And then grocery stores, people always overlook grocery stores and they always overlook drugstores. I can tell you those are the two that get overlooked the most. And the other one is convenience stores. Like you'd be surprised. Sometimes you can find some stuff at convenience stores because you should always be sourcing. And then last but not least, of course, all the general stores. So, we've got all of the stores from Walmart and Target clearance and then the Dollar Trees and all of that, all the way up to J.C. Penney's and Old Navy and Carter's. Again, thinking of stores that you can be going to, physical stores, and there's so many more stores. This is not the full list. You should put this on your list. So when we were talking about stores that you need to get the newsletter for, these are the stores. You should be getting the newsletter. So you can do some sourcing before you go to the store. And Tony, what did you want to add? I'm sorry.
I don't remember. I really don't. I'm sorry. I'm just trying. I know that I'm just sounding like a, like, blah, 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 and I'm not trying to at all. But I'm just going to say that, when you're talking, I do remember what I was going to say is that grocery stores, Nicole was talking about that, they are for real, especially when they put stuff on clearance. They're trying to get that stuff out. I mean, there's some, you will be surprised at what you find, and you may not find a whole lot of it, but you will be surprised and you will be doing a happy dance. I promise you. Because last year I found, what are those Duplos, those big brick Duplos? I found those for $6.50, $6.50. Yeah. Those suckers retail for almost $30. They were trying to clear it out. Now I sold it on Facebook Marketplace, and I found, and definitely made my money plus quite a bit. So throwing it out there. Do not underestimate the grocery stores and the clearance at Carter's and Kohl's, because, if you are sourcing and, it's right after a holiday, like right after Christmas, I'd be looking for Christmas and Hanukkah stuff that, because the baby stuff doesn't take much space, and you can get that stuff for 70, 80% off. And I'm telling you, if you remember where you put it, which that's the hard part, you can really make out the following 6 months from then. But that's, again, that may not be in your model. And you may have a significant other that may not like you having all that crap. Because Nicole knows how my husband feels about that sometimes.
Well, the other thing I'm going to say is that with some of the retail and online arbitrage, the other thing that people that they overlook for grocery stores and also drugstores is replenishables. People are going to Walmart and Target because they go there every week or every other week, or at least once or twice a month. So they're going there for what? For stuff that you buy. So if it's something that you buy, then other people are going to buy it. So that's another way to find those replenishables or consumables that people are buying on a regular basis. And grocery stores always have consumables, okay? All day long, they have replenishables, consumables, whatever you want to call them. I call them steady eddies. And these are things that people have to buy on a regular basis, whether it's razors, whether it's toothpaste, toothbrush, whether it is, stuff for your hair, shampoo, conditioner, soap. All of these things are things that you are going to use up, and you got to go buy some more when it's all gone. So those are always a great way to stabilize your e-commerce income and stabilize your e-commerce business. So then you can buy the other things that are not always so consistent, but they may have peaks and valleys in them. And if you have a boatload of what I refer to as steady eddies, that stabilizes a baseline of your income that you're getting in on a regular basis from your e-commerce business. So don't overlook those opportunities. For sure. All right. So the bottom two are online only for, if you're going to buy wholesale or if you're wanting to do some drop shipping. So, you've got your online for Wayfair, Overstock, and Hayneedle, and then you've got all of these wholesale suppliers, which will also do a significant number of them will do drop shipping in addition to AliExpress and Alibaba. They will do drop shipping. So, this is the list that if you're interested in doing drop shipping, if you're interested in doing, buying wholesale, you can get inventory in bulk from them. Right. So then the next thing on the list is, for those of you that don't want to go out, because we're still in the middle of COVID-19 here in 2020, you can always use stores like Instacart, TaskRabbit, Ship, Postmates. You can hire a personal shopper. I always recommend that. You could order your inventory wholesale or have it drop shipped from a prep center if you decide you want to outsource part of your inventory work or your shipping out to a prep center, prep fulfillment center. You want a prep fulfillment center. So I got to back up and explain because I get people that are confused all the time, difference between a prep center and a fulfillment center. So you want a prep fulfillment center. Let's just start with that. That's the one you want. And a fulfillment center is just like when you send inventory into Amazon. You're prepping it at your house. You're putting the do not separate on there. You're putting the Amazon barcode on it. If Amazon says it needs to be in a plastic bag, you're putting it in a plastic bag. You're doing all the prep yourself. We call it bagging and tagging. At your house, that's what you're doing. When you send it into Amazon, they're doing the fulfillment. So that means when a customer goes online, they buy something with the Prime logo on it or without the Prime logo on it. When you send it in, it has the Prime logo on it. If somebody's doing merchant fulfilled, it doesn't have the Prime logo on it. But in any case, when you send it into Amazon, you're doing FBA, fulfillment by Amazon. So they're doing the fulfillment for you. They're shipping it, they're pulling it off of the shelf and shipping it to the customer for you. Companies that do that same activity are like Deliver and then Walmart Fulfillment Services. They will pull it off the shelf and they will send it to the customer for you. If you are wanting a company to go in and package it up or take the stickers off of it or clean it up or put it in a baggie or do anything special with it, you need to hire a prep fulfillment center. A prep fulfillment center will do all of that work. So companies like, again, Amazon Fulfillment, FBA, Deliver, and Walmart Fulfillment Services are all fulfillment centers. They're not prep centers. Now, Amazon will charge you if you want them to do some prep for you. They will charge you. They will do that. But Deliver will not, and neither will Walmart Fulfillment Services. On the other side, the prep side of it, there's so many different prep centers that will do work for you. So again, all you have to do is just look up a list. We have a list that we recommend, but the prep center can take the work away from you. The reason you would want to hire a prep center is so that if you're in a situation like Tony, where you're out here acquiring inventory and you just want to put it in a big giant box and you know how many is in the box, just for the purposes of, but you're not taking any tags off, you're not putting it in plastic bags, you're not putting the bundle together. You want somebody else to do the work for you so your husband doesn't get mad at you. You send it to you send it to a prep center so that they can do all the prep and your house remains pristine. It is junky for a second until you dump everything into a big giant box. Then you put a sticker on it and you notify the prep center, hey, I'm sending y'all a bunch of stuff. I need y'all to send it to my customers when I have sales. Okay, I need you to prep it. Okay, and then they do it. They'll do everything from bundles to whatever. They'll also take your long-term storage, so you could eventually pay less in long-term storage fees with them than you do with Amazon. So I highly recommend prep and fulfillment centers. It actually will make your house look like you actually live in it versus, I don't know, like you're in an episode of Hoarders. Okay?
It didn't look that bad, but it did at one time, though, if you recall. So
oh no, mine looks like I'm in an episode of Hoarders right now. So that's what we're trying to get all this stuff out of here because it's crazy right now, and it happens with Q4. Like Q4 is just like that.
It does. It is.
All right. So if you're going to go out and about, wear a mask and gloves, sanitize your purchases. You can separate them in your trunk. There's always those options. So then that way you don't have to touch them. And some things, long as it's not food, you can just put it in your garage and just let it sit until after a certain period of time. I believe in my heart of hearts, like all of us are, we've all been exposed to COVID at this point. I just feel like it, we have, but we're not immune. So I just want to be clear about that. So the next thing.
We're gone through that today. Yeah, we have.
All right. So the next thing is sourcing for print on demand. I told you that the least expensive way to do this business outside of getting inventory for free is to do print on demand. Why? Because you can actually put up a boatload of listings and you don't have to pay for anything until somebody buys it. So you can just list. You can design, list. So the amount of time that you're investing in it is, that is your initial cost. And then whatever you're worth per hour. And then when people buy things, and you still have to pay for it. So a print on demand is a process where you work with a supplier to customize a white label product like t-shirts, like baseball hats, like tote bags, like socks, like tennis shoes, like car seat covers, like all kinds of, there's so many, like coffee mugs, like calendars. And then you design it and you sell them with your brand or with your information on it, whatever it happens to be. And we have a list of print on demand suppliers. On the left, we have a list of, those that are integrated with Shopify, and the three that have the asterisks are also just regular print on demand. So the great thing is that if you have an account with Printful, Lulu, or Printify, then you're fortunate enough to be able to use them for your Shopify store if you have a Shopify store. And I just want to encourage people, like, I want you to know that you could be running like 10 Shopify stores for Black Friday. People do not realize you don't have to just run one store. You literally could have 10 different niches that you're selling for. That's the great thing about Shopify. Be doing all kinds of stuff. And then on the other side is just a list of just print on demand companies that you can do different things from, not just, books to, all kinds of products. So, if you're thinking about getting into the print on demand space, you literally could just spend your time. A strategy would be to invest maybe 2 hours a day or an hour a day. Well, probably 2 hours a day is more realistic, every single day, and doing keyword research and doing design research, developing designs. You can even outsource the work of the keyword research and the work of developing the designs to a VA long term. You should always know how to do something first before you outsource it. But in any case, spend that 2 hours and then put up a listing, with your goal being like creating no less than 5 listings or 10 listings a week. And then over time, you get to a place where your business sustains itself. So again, a low cost way to get started in this business, and then drop shipping is the next low cost way, and then so on and so forth. So no, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, then drop shipping. Okay, so wholesale. So wholesale refers to two possible business models. So a business may buy goods in large quantity directly from a manufacturer, wholesale them themselves to resell them. So there's a lot of people that will do that. They will buy inventory in bulk and then sell it to other, sellers, or they can resell it themselves. And then another is wholesale may refer to businesses that produce their own products and sell them directly to retailers. I apologize. That typically is normally a private label kind of situation. But again, if you're producing products on your own product, or you're developing products, indirectly, private label could be just perceived as like you're producing products on your own, because you are. Not private label, print on demand, sorry. Because you are. And then you sell them, the products, to the end user. The best thing about wholesale is, like, people who produce a product, their end game, their goal is like, I got to get inside of a retailer, because making a lot of money online and getting inside of a retailer, like, you're going to get, because of the foot traffic from the retailer, you're going to get a lot of traffic. But if you can get on like Walmart, or you can get on Amazon, you can do a great job with your wholesale products there as well. And I apologize. Clearly I need something to drink and I don't have anything near me. All right. So the next thing is private label. So private label products, they're manufactured by a third party, particularly or under a contract. And so typically with private label, like you're designing, developing something, you're doing everything. Like you've created the concept, the idea, you did all of the preliminary research on it. You have, determined that this is a viable product that the industry needs. And then from there, you are having you've designed a product that you're going to manufacture. They give you a draft version of it. Then after they give you a draft version of it, you're doing, you're doing this prototype and you're trying to find packaging for it. And does this logo work? Do these colors work? Whatever it happens to be. And then eventually you go to market with this particular item. So it's something you've designed, you developed, you've pulled together yourself. In addition to that, there are some private label products we call like private label store brands. They're really not private label, they're really white label if we're going to be honest about it. And when I talk about store brands, like, when you go to Walmart, Great Value is Walmart's store brand. Okay? It is. Great Value. You don't find Great Value in Target, you find it in Walmart. It's the store brand. When I go to Trader Joe's, their store brand is called Trader Joe's. They've got some other store brands as well. And so does Walmart. Walmart also has some additional store brands that are store brands. Girl Scouts cookies or Target's is Up and Up. So again, those are store brands. And so could those products be manufactured as a white label product, meaning a product that if I wanted to slap my logo and my name on it, could I do that? There's a possibility. You'd have to reach out to the manufacturer to see if there's a white label opportunity, which we're going to talk about white label next. But again, private label involves doing a lot of research, vetting what is in demand, what people are interested in, what people want, and then developing a product that's associated with it, doing all the keyword research, the labels, the colors, and then moving forward. All right, so white label products. I talked briefly about white label products. And white label products are those products, again, where you can just slap your logo on it and call it yours. So a great one is Kirkland's Wine, which is sold at Costco. Like Kirkland's Wine, you actually can turn that into a private label product. So if Tony wanted to come up with Tony's wine brand name, she could reach out to Kirkland's and say, I want you to slap my name, my label on that wine bottle. Then I could do the same thing. And then we've got three different brands of wine out there, but it's all made by the same manufacturer. A lot of people don't know that. So again, that's another opportunity for you to be able to sell the same thing that somebody else is already selling that's popular. And then what you're doing is you're branding it with your own name. So people are always like, where do I find white label suppliers? I want to get into the white label game. I want to put my brand on something. So a great opportunity is if you ever get a chance to go to the White Label Expo, you should do it. But another way to find suppliers is to go do research on expos, trade shows. You need to be writing this down if you're not. Expos, trade shows, go do a search and then look up the exhibitors. Those exhibitors are those people that are there for the sole purpose of that particular activity. So at the White Label Expo, who do you think is going to be a presenter? Who is going to have a booth? White label companies. Those are the exhibitors. So, there's a lot of great white label companies here. Like this one, they're doing essential oils. That's a carrier. This one is hemp and cannabis. That one's going to be a little bit hard on the marketing. Then you've got all of these great, this one is wines. This is packaging. Again, white label packaging. There's so many. Best rate, merchant service. I have no idea what that is. This one is dropper bottles. Again, people are buying that probably for essential oils and also for cannabis and for other stuff. So again, if you're looking to make something, you want to, or you don't want to spend the time making it, but you want to slap your label on it, you've got an idea, you've got a concept, you need to find a manufacturer that can do the work for you, or maybe the product already exists and you just want to slap your label on it. This is a great opportunity. Going through and looking at all of these wholesale suppliers, like this one with cosmetics, that is going to be a great opportunity for somebody. So all I did was just do a Google search for the White Label Expo. once I pulled up the White Label Expo, I just went to exhibitors and there's your list. You could do the same thing with several of the big name expos or the several of the big product conferences that you know about or that you can Google. You can also just do a Google search on wholesale trade shows. You can do a search on just, some of the random so that you can find them. And then go through and reach out to some of these exhibitors. See if you can find an exhibitor that is doing what you need done. Now, Juggle Scout, they're a supplier. They sell products to people to help them with their product research. But in any case, there's a great list here, and I just want to encourage you to come take a look at it and see, if you are a person that really wants to do private label or white label. The difference between private label and white label is you're in it from beginning to end, everything from the idea, to the concept, to the development and design, to the prototype and the manufacturing of it, to all of that, to the product labeling. Where the great thing about white label is a bunch of the research has already been done, so you just have to decide which white label products. You have to vet the white label products, come up with your own product, figure out how you're going to market it, and then your logo, and then have them put your logo on it, and you're done. Your brand on it, and you're done. So that's what I like about white label. There's so many opportunities with white label, and hopefully next year, if all goes well, we'll all be able to go to the White Label Expo together. I think that's a great next step in your journey in the e-commerce journey to become a more advanced seller and to make more money in selling. So I talked about product research life cycle a little bit, doing your research, finding a niche, and it really has to be either solving a problem or something that is truly of interest, or there's a gap there, like there's a need. So if there's a need, then you do that research, identify, what the things are that people are needing, and then you develop something to go along with that. You find private label manufacturers that will actually give you a prototype. You got to cost that out. They're going to charge you a little bit. You got to go through that process back and forth for a while. You got to create your own logos. After you get some samples, then you go through the process of getting ready to launch that product. Now that you've done the initial research and all of that. So again, the life cycle of product research there's a lot more to it. This is just a high level. And if you want to get into the private label game, it's a great opportunity because I will tell you, people jump on your listings on Amazon, you can kick them off.
Yeah, but this is a different ball game.
It's a different ball game, yeah, but it is a lot of upfront work and investment. And I will say all of e-commerce is a lot of upfront work, but this one does involve like you have a personal vested interest in the success of the product because it's your baby. It's something you developed and designed. All right. So is there anything else you wanted to add to the private label, white label, or wholesale?
No, I mean, you got it. I'm just chilling. You're doing great.
All right. Okay. So for drop shipping, again, very similar. Actually, you can intertwine drop shipping and wholesale if you wanted to, because again, the first piece of the wholesale model is people buy something in bulk and then sell it to someone for resale, or you can use your wholesale supplier as your drop shipper. They can be your drop shipper. So again, you're finding a product, you're finding a need or a niche or a hole in the market that needs to be filled, something that might be in demand, something that might be of interest, maybe it's a trend, whatever it happens to be. And then you're turning around and you're listing it on a platform. A lot of people list things on Shopify, but there's many different platforms in which you can list items on to drop ship them. You can even do funnels to be able to drop ship products. Then you're driving traffic to that listing, or you're driving traffic to those pages. And once people buy it, then someone else, not you, someone else ships it to your customer for you. That's the short version of drop shipping. So you just have to be able to find the right products at the right price because you do want to make a profit. You're the middleman, and you need to make sure the transaction between the wholesale supplier or whoever, even if it's a distributor, that the price is good enough that you can raise it some so you can get your profit, siphon your profit off the middle. So a perfect example would be like a baby bed. You didn't private label it, you didn't white label it. You found a manufacturer or a wholesale supplier that has baby beds. And so they're selling those baby beds for $100. You go list it on another platform, or you go list it on your Shopify store or wherever for $200 instead of $100. And so after the item sells, the wholesale supplier or your distributor, whoever it happens to be, the vendor, they send the item to the customer for you, and you get to keep the difference. So your goal is to find products that people are interested in and that sell all day long. Okay. And here's some, a good place to start for some of the wholesale suppliers. A lot of people do drop shipping from Alibaba and AliExpress. So you definitely can do that. There's certain platforms that don't allow you to do drop shipping on them, or if they do, you need to have your company name on the packaging. And so finding a wholesale supplier that will actually put your company name on it is vitally important, especially if you're going to drop ship on eBay or Amazon. It needs to come from your company and not from some generic whoever. Okay. And then we wanted to remind you guys about the store closures. There's a lot of them. So these are stores that they're shutting down the entire store chain by the end of the year. So if you haven't, gone by any of these stores, or you haven't made time to go check them out, it might be something worth checking out to see if there's any opportunity for you to scoop up a bunch of inventory at a decent price and be able to flip it on other platforms, sell it on other platforms, or put it on, put it in your store and maybe send the inventory to a prep center if you don't want to handle it, or a fulfillment center if you don't want to handle it. So all of these stores, yeah, there's just, my heart goes out to the employees of these companies, but yeah, they're all folding. And then these are stores that have some partial closures, but not 100% closures. So again, you got Bed Bath and Beyond, sure. One worth stopping by. Office Depot, for sure, definitely one worth stopping by. Victoria's Secret, believe it or not, might be one to go look at now. Buy that inventory now, because what's going to happen in a few months? Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is coming. I mean, there's things that are just going to come. The dates are not going to move. Valentine's Day is not moving anywhere. So why not go ahead and source for Valentine's Day in October? Get some of this stuff while it's on clearance and turn around and flip it after the holidays are over. Okay? Yeah. You got Macy's, you got JCPenney, you got Belk. Stores that are worth taking a look at. And then last but not least, before we get into last but not least, I wanted to give you guys a reverse sourcing tip. I've named a few things. One of the easiest reverse sourcing tips is to go and look at things in the flyer before you go to the store. So taking 10 or 15 minutes, and that was what we covered in session one, was taking 10 or 15 minutes before you head out the door to go see what you potentially want to go pick up. Like, there might be something that's worth selling. So go check it out. Look at the flyers. Use your phone. You can use your Amazon scanning app. You can also use eBay. You can also use Walmart just to see what it's selling for on those platforms. And if it's something that you can make a decent profit, or you find on another platform that's selling for a higher price, I put that on my list from a reverse sourcing standpoint. And again, using coupons to maximize that profit, that return on the investment, and acquiring that piece of inventory, that item, whatever it is, at the lowest possible price. Your goal is to acquire it at the lowest possible price and sell it for the highest possible price without price gouging. That's your goal. So then that way the piece that you keep in the middle of the sandwich is the biggest. You want the big fat juicy steak, or big fat juicy hamburger, or whatever it happens to be. And you want these two little thin pieces of bread on either side, because you want it big in the middle. You want everything to be big in the middle, okay? You want a double decker in the middle. You want a lot of profit. So you got to get it at the lowest possible price and then sell it at the highest possible price without price gouging. The other reverse sourcing strategy that I use is, Amazon Top 100 is always the easiest, lowest hanging fruit. There's all kinds of software and tools out there that you can use to go do some product sourcing and research. But if you just go to the Amazon Top 100 and you click on, you can start with the top 50 in a specific category, and then also look at the frequently bought together. Those two combined is just the gym. Like I would make like $2,000 or $3,000 every single month in profit just by doing that strategy without buying any software. Because a lot of people think, oh, you got to buy a boatload of software. No, it just depends on what's your strategy. So my strategy was doing bundles and doing reverse sourcing, and that is just easy. It's fast and it's easy and it's low hanging fruit. So
Mhm.
that's a quick one, and it allows you the opportunity to make some quick money because people are not always thinking about the frequently bought together. They're just not for whatever reason, and I was. So look for your store deals when you go to the stores. You know, you got coupons. You have so many opportunity for coupons and rebates and cash back. Use your cashback cards if you're doing online arbitrage or retail arbitrage. And even when you are contacting wholesale suppliers, we gave you a list at the beginning. Like when you reach out to them, you know, sometimes that little window will pop up and say, get your 10% off coupon right now, or 5% off coupon, or maybe they're having a Prime Day sale right now if you go to their page. Write down that coupon. Write it down, that coupon code, because you can
Amen.
wholesale in bulk from them, and maybe that coupon code will still be good in a little, you know, in a few weeks or something. So write down that coupon code so you can use it. Pay attention to rebates again if you're doing retail and online arbitrage, and just go check out the sites every single week. That should be on your list to see what kind of deals you can find. And again, don't overlook the opportunity to use a cashback card or use cashback sites. We mentioned in the first session about BrickSeek and an opportunity to use that so you can locate stuff, and then also there are Facebook groups where you can find things where you can be on the lookout when you go to the store, so then you can be intentional about what you're looking for. You know, so I hope this information is helpful. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Tony? And she's
Sorry, I thought I was talking. I can't.
go,
I was, but I wasn't. Huh?
go ahead. Okay, I can't hear you still.
I don't know what just happened. I think I
Okay,
just
well,
got kicked out.
nope, you're here.
But
You're here, Tony. go, go
I
ahead.
don't have anything.
I know there was something you wanted to add because we're at the end. All right. So I hope this information was helpful. We hope it was a blessing to you. If you are not part of the eCom Sales Academy, we encourage you to join us. Come hang out with us. You get to hang out with Tony all the time because Tony's fun.
Sorry, I was trying to get back and say something, and the connection went bad. That's what happens when you live out in the boondocks.
Oh, okay, well, go ahead and say what you were going to say because you all see she's the coupon queen, y'all. I just want you to know that she is the coupon queen.
And
So,
Nicole is acting like she's the queen now. She just laughs at me every time I say, "Go find a code," when we're meeting in leadership, we're doing something. I'm like, "Oh, let me go find a code real quick," and they're laughing at me. But they're not laughing when I find some money to be saved. So I'm just
yeah,
saying. But I mean, just make that part of your day. I mean, it's if seriously, if it's something you use, then you use them, because that is just money you are just taking. If you find a $5 coupon for something you use and you don't use it, that's like taking a $5 bill and burning it. Think about that.
yeah, I missed out on a $5 coupon today. I was so mad at myself. Yeah,
Well, you can go back to the store, if it depends on the store, and sometimes they'll give you like 48 hours or 72 hours to give it back to them. I know, like Target, I think it's seven days, or it used to be. Maybe it's 2 days now. I don't remember. I don't remember what their thing is now. But what's the worst they can tell you? And that is no. So if
yeah,
you're headed there,
that is it. So we just want to encourage you all to go out there and make the most of, this opportunity to source. There's so many different great ways to source. We've given you so many different supplier lists. We have like a wholesale supplier list that we give. We give out 10 new wholesale suppliers every other week. And so use that if you're a person that wants to take advantage of wholesale suppliers and create your own whatever, whether it's creating multiple Shopify stores, doing drop shipping, whatever that happens to be for you. We want you to have the opportunity based on the information we share with you. And then if you find something on your own, great. But maximize your return on your investment. The goal is to find and inventory at the lowest possible price and sell it at the highest possible price without price gouging.
Amen.
That is the goal. All right. Well, this is Nicole Whitlock, and that is Tony Mitchell. And we are eCom Sellers Academy. So glad that you're here. And we hope this information has been a blessing to you. Come back next week. We have a live training every Tuesday at 8 p.m. So goodbye for now.
Bye. Thank y'all.